Now it's 10 o'clock, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So my name is János Daskal. I am the national contact point for Digital Europe program in Hungary. So the abbreviation is DEP NCP here in Hungary. And this training is part of, as I mentioned already last week, of the DEP for All project. And after we had a very successful introduction to DEP presentation last week and the training, the participants were more than 600 last week, which is wonderful. Now we have the session 2, the sessions regarding how to develop a DEP project. So let me show you very quickly today's agenda and some housekeeping rules. That's my part at the beginning. So the agenda today, this is the short welcome, what we are doing now at the moment. And after that, the first part, the first section, Siga from Iceland, will explain how to turn the project into a strong concept. So it will be about concept building. And then we are talking about to set up a consortium. And Marie from Belgium will talk about this. And following that, we will talk about matchmaking and partner search, different ways, different channels of partner search and matchmaking. And Marius from Greece will be talking about it. And as a finish, we will have a so-called kind of daughter or sister project, which is named DEDEP. It's about dissemination and exploitation of Digital Europe program. And Nicholas from that project will present us about dissemination and exploitation. And in the meantime, of course, if we have lots of questions in Q&A, then we will try our best to answer them. But if there are questions remaining at the end of the session, then we will have time, hopefully, for a short Q&A. And then, of course, sharp at 11:30, we will close today's session. Some of the housekeeping rules. It's very important to say that, first of all, please note that the training will be recorded or is being recorded at the moment. And both the recording and the presentation slides will be published and will be shared with you. So if you are afraid that you will miss anything, then don't be afraid. You won't miss anything because we share everything. And if you have colleagues that who couldn't make it today, then of course feel free to share with them as well. As there are many of us on the line at the moment, sorry, we have to keep your mics muted so that we can avoid the big background noise. So this is why your mics are muted. But of course, if you raise your hand and want to say something, then we will monitor it and we will realize that you want to say something. Should we have questions, please send your questions to the Q&A channel, which is on the below of the screen. And we will also monitor them, and the speakers try our best to answer them as soon as possible. But as I mentioned, if there are questions unanswered at the end of the session, then we will have time to do it. And if there are still unanswered questions at the end of the session, then in the follow-up in writing, we will do our best to answer them. And of course, if you have any kind of detailed or bilateral questions, then please feel free to contact your national contact points, which is a very important network. And locally, they are the best persons to help you. So I think this is the short introduction, and these are the housekeeping rules for today. So as to start the professional part of our presentation, of our sharing session, I would hand over the words to Siga, who is from Iceland, the DEP NCP from Iceland. And as I mentioned, we'll talk about the concept building part of this session. So I stop the screen sharing. And would you please welcome Siga? And Siga, please share your screen and start your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you, János. Do you see my screen? Press the screen. Good. Well, as János said, my name is Sigga Guðmundsdóttir, and I'm an NCP for DEP in Iceland. Today, I want to explore how to build a compelling project concept for the Digital Europe program. This presentation will guide you through the key steps and considerations. I hope that you will learn how to generate a strong project idea and align it with the program's goals, understand the reviewer's view, and finally, hopefully have some tools to prepare a successful application. I know that in the last session, and if you miss it, I really recommend that you find it online. Janus covered the fundamentals and the basics of the Digital Euro program, so I won't go into deep in that. But this initiatives have been running from 2021, so it's relatively new, and it's focusing on bringing digital technology to the businesses, citizens, and public administrations. But they have those 6 key areas: supercomputing, AI, cybersecurity, digital skills, and chips. The goal is to accelerate Europe's digital transformation. That does not always mean that your core activities in your organization, this isn't for technology companies. So your core activities don't have to be within those fields, but any of those aspects can enhance your organization capabilities, or if some of them abilities can enhance other organizations' capabilities. That might be something that to seek further. Just so to give you a little bit of understanding how the structure is from the Digital Euro program. Many of the DEP calls are so-called top-down calls. It means that they are asking for a very specific solutions or a project to answer a very specific problem already identified by the Commission. So you see that the Commission has its own strategic priorities, being data, cybersecurity, AI Act, Chips Act, and etc. Those strategies and priorities are then put forward in the EU calls, with the Digital Europe calls, within those 6 specifics, and then it comes to you, the applicants, to respond to those calls. So it's crucial for the applicants to understand those EU strategies, to know how to answer the calls that are published. But it's also very important to align your own organization strategy to guide you to which call you should pursue, and how to tailor your proposal, creating kind of a feedback loop to ensure strategic alignment. And we will go a little bit further into that in the presentation. So yeah, you are answering this problem identified by the EU, and to create a good and relevant presentation, your organization must align with those strategy. And how do I do that, and why do I emphasize this strategic alignment? First of all, if the proposal does not align with your own strategy, there's so many things that won't work then. The strategy is absolutely essential that applying for Digital Europe call that it aligns with your strategy. First, the alignment isn't just like a box checking. It's about ensuring that the project you are proposing is generally supported by your organization's broader vision and mission and long-term goal. If the project fits well with your existing operation and strategic decisions, it's far more likely to be successful. So it's not just about securing funding, but it's about lasting impact. If it's well aligned with their own strategy, it's more likely to have reinforced your organization mission to build on existing strengths. And the outcomes are much more likely to be sustained and scaled after the funding ends. It's so crucial because mismatch can lead to waste of resourcing both during the application process and the execution. It can enhance your organization visibility, credibility, and capacity to innovate. So before even starting drafting a proposal, I think you should take time to evaluate the strategic fit. It's a fundamental step that can make all the difference. And as you see, there are some smart criteria that this is kind of the basic of project management. But believe me, it's very often that people forget about the basics, and they are not. They think that the EU is on a higher level than all the basic requirements. But if you have this, these are the specific smart criteria that most calls do have all the fundamentals within it. You have to be very precise of what it is that you want to accomplish. So how do you do that? When you have found the call or found your fit of like you structure your own objectives, then you can go into the fundamentals portal and see if there's a fit for you, a call that fits your objectives. They are all posted there, so you can find them. And then it's a question about understanding the proposal. If you carefully read the proposal, understand the objectives, expected outcome, eligibility, and budget, you can find it on the fundamental portal. Let me see. All those objectives, scope, and EU valid are found in the calls. For Digital Europe calls, be sure to read both the work program and the call document. These are two separate documents in Digital Europe. So the work program outlines the overall goal for the program, but the call document goes much deeper into all those aspects that I've listed here, which I'm going to go into one by one and within this presentation. So the objectives, they are always listed in the call document. And you have to ensure that your idea aligns with the project's priority. Use keywords from the call text and show how your project supports EU Digital Authority, cross-border collaboration, and long-term impact. This is a critical step in evaluating a DEP call, understanding the objective of the call and how they relate to your organizational strategy. If you just start by looking at the call itself, it should clearly define the challenges it aims to address And then you ask yourself, what is the main purpose of this call? Is it about advancing digital skills, supporting digital infrastructure, enhancing cybersecurity, or something completely else? And once you kind of understand the call's objective, then you shift your focus to your own organization. Is this strategic alignment, and then it's there is what this a strategic alignment comes into play. Consider your own mission, your own resource focus, or your own service offer, and do these align with the project goals of the call. Also, I recommend thinking about your role in the ecosystem. Is your organization directly targeted by the call, or does your solution offer something that can and is intended for an intended beneficiary, that so they can meet the call's objectives? This analysis helps you to determine whether your participation would be impactful and competitive. If the alignment is strong, you're much more likely to craft a compelling proposal that resonates with the evaluators and deliver a real value. And that is kind of what the evaluators are looking for. Then we go into the scope of the project. This is where we get into the specifics of what the project is expected to do, and just as importantly, what it's expected not to do. The scope, there's always a scope section in the DEP code, and it defines the thematic and technical boundaries. It outlines the type of activities that are eligible for funding, and also explicitly states what falls outside of the scope. It's crucial because even a very well written proposal can be rejected because it includes activities that are not even allowed within the call. So how does that relate to your organization strategy? Well, you need to assess whether your project idea fits within these boundaries. Does it align with the theme and technology focus areas which are described? And just as importantly, leverage your existing capabilities. In other words, can your team realistically carry out the activities that are allowed under the call? And this is actually a good moment to be just honest about your strengths. If the scope includes activities that you're well equipped to deliver, that's a strong indicator of good fit for a project. If it's not, you may need to consider partnership or look for a different call that matches your expertise. So understanding the scope helps you to avoid misleading and ensure that your proposal is eligible and competitive. Now, I also want to highlight a key evaluation criteria for the DEP proposal, demonstrating the EU added value. In the context of Digital Euro program, the EU added value means showing how your project delivers benefits at the European level, benefits that kind of go beyond what a single country can do or a single organization could achieve on its own. So why is this important? Well, because projects that clearly articulate their EU-wide impact are often prioritized for funding. Evaluators are looking for initiatives that strengthen Europe digital capabilities and collaborative, scalable, and in a collaborative, scalable, and sustainable way. So how can we demonstrate this in a proposal? First, explain how your project contributes to advancing digital transformation across Europe, not just locally. Second, you could highlight the scalability of your solution, can be adopted in other EU projects, countries, or adapted perhaps in a different context. And third, show that you have meaningful involvement from multiple EU players, states, not only token of participation, but real collaboration. And always try to tie these points back to the impact of your project, both during the funding periods and like also long-term. And this is what could make your proposal stand out with the evaluators. Then the expected outcomes in the DEP's call that refer to the specific results or changes that the European Commission wants to see as a result from the funded projects. These outcomes are not just suggestions, they are benchmarks for success. They help the Commission to measure whether the program is achieving the broader digital goals across the EU. So when reviewing a call, pay close attention to how the outcomes are described. Then ask yourself, can our project clearly demonstrate how it will deliver to contribute to these results? This is where your organization expertise, technology, and resources come into play. You need to show that you have the capacity to achieve those expected outcomes, that you can have this could mean having the right team, the right tools, or even proven track record of similar initiatives. And then it's important to see if there are any gaps. So for example, missing skills, technology, regional reach. Consider how you might fill them up with collaboration or subcontracting. This doesn't only strengthen your proposal, but it also shows the evaluators that you thought strategically about how to deliver the projects. Ultimately, your ability to contribute to the expected outcome is a key factor in how your proposal is evaluated. So make sure this alignment is clearly and convincingly articulated. Then it comes to the budget and resources. Of course, estimate your budget realistically, include cost for personnel, equipment, travel. Just make sure that your budget aligns with the financial guidelines in the call. When applying to DEP call, especially those with 50% funding rate, it is essential to estimate your project cost realistically. Because in that case, the grant covers only half of the total budget, meaning that your organization will have to co-finance the remaining 50%. So a proposal in DEP should be viewed not only as a funding opportunity, but also as a strategic investment in the project that aligns with your long-term goals. If the project is something that you would pursue regardless to the grant, the funding becomes a valuable accelerator, not the sole justification for the application. And so you should always considering kind of the full value of the project. Strategic alignment, is it for capacity building, the long-term impact, visibility, and partnership? And think of the true investment, return on investment that may go far beyond the financial contribution. Now, let's address another critical aspect of the DEP project. What happens after the funding ends? Most DEP projects run for 2 to 3 years, but the European Commission is very clear. This funding is meant to provide a head start. It's usually not an ongoing support. That's why it's essential to think of a long-term impact and sustainability from the beginning. This is especially, I think it's especially important for research institutions and public organizations, which are often expected to continue the work independently once the project period concludes. So how do you plan for sustainability? Let's take some examples. I mean, it can be scalability. Can your solution grow beyond the initial scope? Is it designed to be adopted by other regions, sectors, or user groups? Policy influence. Will your product result contribute to shaping supporting national or EU politics? This can significantly enhance your project relevance. Or a business model. What's your plan on maintaining the initiative after the funding ends? Will it be integrated into your organization operations, supported by national funding, or perhaps commercialized? The Commons mission wants to see you take ownership of the project, that your project won't just end after the grant does, but continue to deliver value on a national and or institutional level. I don't know how I am time-wise. So I'm just going to leave you with a few tips. I think you will be able to get those slides afterwards. Just be clear and concise, avoid vague, overly ambitious idea. Use data, support to claims with relevant data, your own national or EU. It adds credibility and shows that your proposal is grounded in evidence. It's important to mirror the call language. Use the same terminology structure found in the call documents. This will help the evaluators to quickly see how your proposal aligns with the call objectives and scope. Align with EU and national goals. Show how your project support product digital strategies. Plan realistically. Build a strong consortium, and Maria will go further into that. And last but not least, seek support early. And like Janus said, don't hesitate to contact your local NCP because they can provide valuable guidance, review, and help you to avoid common pitfalls. I think this is it for me, and Maria will take over.
Thank you, Siga. I hope that you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. I'm Marie Timmerman. I'm the Digital Europe NCP for the Flemish part of Belgium. And I will follow up on one of the last points that Siga mentioned on building a strong consortium. So there's different things you need to consider when you set up a consortium. It's the roles that you can take up in a project, the tasks, and of course the responsibilities. There are formal requirements from the call text, and of course you need to look that you have the right expertise and capacity within your consortium. I will start with the roles in a consortium, and to understand the different roles that there are, we need to have a look at the structure of such a project first. Of course, for such a project, you need some coordination. So usually this is the first work package within a project. Work packages are major subdivisions in the project. Typically, they are between 3, 4 to 8 work packages in a project. There is no fixed requirement. This is really what you discuss within the consortium, how you structure your project, which makes most sense. So you have always, usually it's the first work package is coordination, and then you have a number of different other work packages, typically one on communication dissemination, and you will hear more about this a bit later in this session. And all the other work packages are related to the actual content and the goals of the project. And each work package then is again structured into different tasks. Usually, I think a normal work package has between 3 to 5 tasks, but there again, there is no rule, no fixed requirement. This is something you discuss in the consortium and you see how it best works for your project. So if you look at the structure, you see different roles for a project. You have, of course, a coordinator. You have the leads for the different work packages. You have leads for the different tasks, and you have all the contributors, so all the partners in the project that will contribute to the different tasks within the work packages. So what does this mean? Looking at the different responsibilities for these roles in a consortium, the coordinator has the leading role, usually in also in preparing and submitting the proposal, certainly also in negotiating the grant agreement with the European Commission once a project has been positively evaluated. Throughout the project, then the coordinator is the contact person between the European Commission and the project partners. The coordinator is in charge of the entire financial management of the project, the monitoring and evaluation, making sure that all the KPIs are reached, that the reporting is done in time, that the entire project is on track. And of course, the overall coordination administration of everything that comes with running a project is the responsibility of the coordinator. We then look at the work package leads. They coordinate the work within one work packages, make sure that all the different tasks that are grouped under this work package are on track regarding the planned activities, their objectives, the timeline, that they reach the projected milestones and deliveries. So the promises you make in your proposal of what will be attained, at what part of what stage of the project are reached. The work package lead are responsible for the technical reporting on the work progress within their work package. And again, this is not a rule, but quite often the work package leads together with the coordinator form the consortium governance and then take the necessary day-to-day decisions that need to be taken to run the project. Looking at the task leads, they coordinate the activities within one specific task, ensure that these are prepared and delivered on time. The task leads work closely with the work package lead to give input for the technical reporting that is too specific to their task. And then the contributors, they bring in their specific expertise, their knowledge to the different tasks, and make sure that these activities are delivered correctly in time and with the necessary knowledge for everything that is needed for each specific task or activity. I think from what I just said, it's pretty clear that depending on at which role you take up in such a consortium, as a contributor, as a task lead, as a work package lead, or as a coordinator, there is an increase or a difference in time investment, but also a difference in the level of influence. So as a coordinator or a work package lead, you need to consider that you need some more time that you will spend working on the project. This was a quick overview of the different roles you can take in a project. And now looking, I forgot one point, I'm sorry. For first time applicants, I would strongly suggest that you do not start in your very first project as a coordinator. There is a lot of knowledge that you need on how these projects work, on the reporting, on the technical parts of running a project on EU level. So for a first-time applicant, I would also always recommend to look for a consortium with a few strong partners that can take the lead, and you learn by joining the project, how these things work. Then looking at forming a consortium with the right partners. First of all, we have to consider the formal requirements of a call topic. They can be quite open in some call topics, but they can also be quite prescriptive. You'll find these in the call document. There is a specific part on the consortium composition. Please bear in mind that everything you see in the call document on the requirements for consortium are always the minimum requirements. These are the requirements that absolutely have to be met for a project to be considered eligible for funding. But this is not the limit. So you can always add more partners, other stakeholder types, and so forth, but make sure that what you see in the call document, like I put a few examples on the slide, minimum of 3 different applicants from the different eligible countries, a consortium of minimum 6 applicants from 5 countries, must be a number of applicants, or an EDIC, a European Digital Infrastructure Consortium. These are really the things that need to be met. What we see typically in Digital Europe projects is that the consortia are much bigger than the minimum requirements of the European Commission. So bear in mind that you can go beyond, even significantly beyond the minimum requirements, but also bear in mind that the project has to stay manageable, that you have the right partners on board. And if you need a lot of partners, take them on board, even though the Commission says that you need only 3. But make sure that you do not grow a consortium beyond proportion and make this unmanageable. Then, choose your partners wisely. It's always good if you know some partners from different countries that you work with. It's, of course, the perfect way to start working with partners that you know and you trust. But you also have to make sure that the partners you work with are the right fit for your project. So have a look at the project needs and requirements. The requirements I just showed you there in the call text. The minimum requirements for a consortium, the project needs, you can also deduct from the call text. Exiga explained the call text is very detailed on the objectives and the scope and the expected outcomes of the project. So think about who do you need to present a good project proposal, to have a project that can answer to all these requests from the call text. Make sure that the partners do have the adequate resources to fulfill their tasks, both content-wise, but also regarding their role in the project. So if you have a partner that takes up a huge role and 3 months into the project, they consider that they actually do not have the time to take up the role that they promised to take up, then you're, as a project, in a tricky situation and need to find a solution for that. So make sure when negotiating with your partners that you have the right partners on board, also resource-wise. It is also often recommended to have a diverse group of partners in your consortium, to have different types of stakeholders, have a, as they call it, a multidisciplinary approach, because that gives you different kinds of expertise, gives you the possibility to include use cases, have some pilot projects, get the perspective of potential end users of what your project will develop, get partners on board that might have specific facilities or infrastructures that can be useful. But also make sure that you do not only focus on this technical and content related aspects, but make sure that you also incorporate or involve partners that have expertise in coordination. That's usually the role of the coordinator who also coordinates the writing of the project, but also that have the necessary expertise on communication and dissemination, for example. And then the last point I would like to mention here is geographical distribution. In Digital Europe, this is not a formal requirement. So there's usually not mentioned that there have to be a very nicely broad spread geographical distribution of the partners. I would always recommend to try to do this anyway. It's an EU project after all, a EU program. The Commission wants what they fund to have an impact on EU level. Siga already talked about the importance of EU added value, and this is just easier or more, I think it's more convincing if you can show the EU added value with a bunch of partners from different countries than when you stick to, talking from my case, the Benelux countries or just the Scandinavian countries. So I think a broader approach is always, a plus. And then looking at which partners to choose and which is the right expertise, I think the call topic gives a lot of hints already. If you look in the call document, the Commission has a specific section on target groups for each call topic. Again, often this is not a prescription on these have to be the partners, but this is what the Commission thinks are the stakeholder types that are most likely to be able to deliver what they are looking for. Again, as I said, as for the minimum requirements, you can go beyond that. You can take in other partners, but if you start looking for who's the best partner or who are the best partners for my project, this is a good way to start. Have a look what is written in the call document. I put again a few examples on the slide. Sometimes the Commission really says these are the targeted stakeholders. Sometimes the Commission says consortium is highly recommended to include at least, and I would treat highly recommended to include as do include to make sure that you have a strong proposal. I think this was my part already. So this is what you need to consider to build a strong consortium. You make a list of partners that you will need or that you most likely will need to write a strong proposal. And I'll hand over to Marius now, who will give you more insight on how you can find these partners. Marius, are you there?
Okay, just a second. Marius seems to be leaving the meeting and coming back. Maybe there were some net problems. Marius, can you hear us? Can you see us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. I can hear you.
Thank God.
Okay, please share your screen.
But we had some connection problems. Please just confirm that when you see my presentation in full screen mode.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So this is Marios Zoroidis from the National Documentation Center in Greece, and together we will As Mari mentioned in her presentation, one of the biggest tasks is to find the right partners or to find the perfect match. First of all, it's we're gonna see the importance of matchmaking because where you have to because you have to find your partners precisely, and you have to define what you need. When you're trying to when you read first of all, you have to analyze the call and what kind of organizations um, um, does its call ask, and this often includes a mix of research organizations, companies, public bodies, and small and medium enterprises. And in order to have a multifaceted projects. Then you have to analyze what the technological gaps you need the call asks to be filled, which skills are missing from your team. If you need any specific geographical coverage in specific EU member states or associate countries, if you require any specific infrastructures or facilities, and if you need end users or pilot sites for validations. Also, one best practice is to create partner profiles and to start listing all the specific requirements and characteristics for each type of partner you're seeking for. And here we're gonna see how you can do the multiple ways that you can have you can find the perfect match for your digital Euro program call. First of all, as a DEP for All project, we have created this partner search form, which you can ask it directly from DEP NCPs, or you can find it. You can find it.
Oh, Mario seems to have problems again with the net.
I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
Now again, we can hear you, yes.
At which part of the slide?
The partner search profile slide we saw just the beginning, and then start lagging, and then you disappeared.
Okay, then, okay. As I said, we have created the partner search form, which allows potential proposers to clearly outline their expertise, their needs, and what they are looking for. Once it's completed, we share it among all DEP NCPs in order to facilitate effective matchmaking, and this is a good way of helping organization across different countries that and so we can help in finding the right fit for your proposal. The second way that you can find the right proposers is through Funding Attenders portal, which is the official European Commission platform for funding opportunities. And it's a tool that you can use it in many ways. In our occasion, you can browse existing expressions of interest from other organizations or publish your own profile detailing and detail your interests in a specific call. Second, by the organization register, you can search for registered organizations based on your keywords, country, or organization types. This is a vast database of potential collaborators. And thirdly, you can also check the previous project participants. And this is a smart strategy to identify the organizations that have been involved in similar past projects under its EU program, like Horizon Europe or DEP. And if you can search from them for them and you see their track records, this could be a good indicator about their capabilities and what added value you want to bring to your proposal. What we suggest is to create a detailed and clear and compelling profile for your organization and your partnering needs. You can use the specific and relevant keywords that are related to the call and your expertise. And you always have to be proactive and don't just post your interest. You have to actively search and reach out to promising profiles that you find. Another way that we achieve the good matchmaking is through Enterprise Europe Network platform. Most of you may have heard it before. It's the world's largest support network for small and medium enterprises with international ambitions, and it's high. This is what makes it highly relevant for DEP's focus. First of all, there are a lot of partnering sets of opportunities on the database, where, as you can see on the side, you can search by keywords, type of profile, type of partners, what specific information you are looking for. EN has a vast database of business, technology, and research cooperation requests, and offers from thousands of SMEs, research centers, and universities. And then another core activity of the Enterprise Europe Network is the participation in brokerage events. They frequently organize thematic matchmaking events, both physical and virtual, focused on specific sector or technologies. And these events are excellent for if you want for targeted networking. Then the consultants of the network can provide tailored support with personalized advice and can facilitate direct connections. And they act as a bridge between the potential partners and many times between from the lab to the market. I mean, why its relevance for DEP is that EN is particularly relevant because it bridges this gap between research and market, as we said, and often connecting innovative SMEs, which are crucial for DEP's deployment-oriented projects. And last but not least, we have a dedicated platform. Oh, sorry. We have a dedicated platform as the for project, which is the matchmaking tool that we use in order to help potential proposers to find the right partner for their proposal. We will share the link of the platform in the chat for anyone who wants to join. It's typically used for specific events, generally B2Match platform, and that's why you use it for DEP for Digital Euro program. You can create your profile, a detailed profile where you will outline your expertise, your collaboration interests, what kind of in which calls are you interested in participating in, etc. You can have meetings online through the platform. You can find other participant profiles and send them directly meeting requests for a short introductory or to discuss further what your ambition, where your ambitions are. Through this platform, we can maximize your networking time by allowing you to schedule meetings in advance. And in this way, you ensure that you will have highly targeted and efficient interactions with multiple potential partners and in a short period of time. There are many benefits, and we highly recommend everyone who wants to join the proposal to register and to create your profile on our platform. It will run through all this year, and it will be easy for you to find the right partner. But there are not just these methods that we propose. There are also other channels and methods beyond the platforms. What you have to do is to attend conferences and workshops that are relevant for European and international events in your area, in your field, like digital technology, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, data, etc. Networking in person is always better and can lead to unexpected and fruitful collaborations. Apart from this, you can also join and look for any professional networks that can leverage your existing academic, industry, and personal networks. You can ask your colleagues, you can ask your mentors, or any other professional associations that you may know for recommendations. Always the word of mouth can be very powerful. Another strong asset that we have in 2025 is social media. You can always use LinkedIn in order to achieve a good networking. You can follow relevant groups, organizations. You can follow our LinkedIn channel, the DEP for All channel, and you can use you can also use advanced search features to identify potential collaborators. And if you see any profile that aligns with, start creating your proposal. Also, there are many project websites where you can review successful either DEP or other EU-funded projects, and there you can identify their consortia members, and these organizations have a proven track record of successful collaboration, so you can look for their contact details and get in touch directly with them. And last but not least, you can also check for specific publications and research papers that are more specific technological, for if you have any specific technological gaps, if I may say, that are missing from your proposal. You can search for these publications and then identify the leading research groups of companies by reviewing their publications and research papers in these relevant technology areas. Thank you, and I hope we didn't have any other connection issues. And if so, I can pass the floor to Nicholas.
Okay, thank you, Marios. Nicholas, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'll just share my slides. Okay, can you see the slides okay?
Yes, we can see them.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much. So my name's Nick Ferguson, and I'm a senior manager of a company called Trust IT. We're a company which work in dissemination, basically, and we coordinate a project called DEP, which is a support action, should we say, a coordination support action, where we support projects funded under the digital program to improve how they approach and strategize their dissemination and exploitation strategies. I work for a company called Trust IT. We're an SME based in Pisa in Italy, and this is our core business. Basically, we look at dissemination strategies and how to improve these. We are joined in the consortium by Meta Group, who focus on exploitation. Okay, so how you maybe commercialize your project's results as well. And together, actually, we, well, Meta Group are the coordinator of the Horizon Results Booster. If you're working in the Horizon Europe funded projects, then you may have heard of the booster. Meta manage the exploitation services there, where Trust IT manage, in partnership with another company called Icons, the dissemination services for those projects funded under Horizon. So today, I'll quite quickly look at some points around the digital program, because the DEP project looks at how to help projects to deliver effective dissemination and exploitation strategies and implement them as well. The project lasts for 24 months, so we're currently nearly the end of the first year, and our job is to deliver a pilot on and test different ways in which projects should look at dissemination exploitation. So you can see an overview there. But for today's presentation, what I'll be focusing on really is dissemination. So what you should be doing in your proposal, based on evidence that we've gathered from different projects already running, and some thoughts on how you can, if you're already in a digital program project, and some things which you can think about when designing your dissemination strategy. So the first thing to highlight is what is dissemination. And of course, this is really promoting the results of a project to the target stakeholders. So in the case of digital, this is all about people who can use the results of your project. Now, the digital project, there's no research to be done, because probably most of your results are already of a very high TRL and are almost ready to be deployed on the market. Okay, so bearing this in mind, your dissemination strategy should be very market and commercialization oriented, and already you should be thinking straight away, who are my end users? What are the unique value proposition for each of the results? And how on earth am I going to reach them and tell them about my amazing results and how they're going to change their lives? So what we did to find out some needs and some challenges around projects, we carried out an extensive survey where we asked a large number of the digital projects about the different challenges in dissemination and exploitation that they have. You can see we got across the broad topics of the digital program, we got quite a broad spectrum of results, bearing in mind there are different numbers of projects funded under each strand. And we got some very interesting statistics, which could be useful for you when you're thinking about planning your application. So if we look at the barriers, for example, a lot of projects complain about the fact that they have a lack of resources. So when you're putting together your plan in your proposal, you want to bear this in mind, that you want to allocate the right amount of resources to dissemination of your results. Bearing in mind, as I said at the beginning, you're really judged by adoption of your results and how many people are using them. okay? The other problem is engagement. So how many of the target stakeholders that the projects are looking at are actually engaging with the project? A large number of projects focus on small and medium enterprises, and that's normally quite a challenge for people to reach, because of course, well, I work for an SMA, they're always busy, they don't have much time, and they lack resources to really investigate the impact and effectiveness. So messaging and telling the right story to those people around immediate impact of results can be an effective strategy to employ. So bearing these barriers in mind, we also found, in fact, that in a number of cases, they had real problems in getting their end users interested in their results. Although the projects knew what the results were, they often had difficulty in describing what they were simply, so that people can quickly understand. And most importantly, this point about what the impact is going to have on the company. A lot of projects were trying to interact with stakeholders, but often this wasn't particularly structured enough. And one thing that we've learned with engaging with projects is the importance of one-to-one engagement and really building a relationship, in particular with companies. Another thing to think about is how you measure and how you monitor your activities and dissemination. So, you may be having a website, you may be using social media, you may be using events, but it's very important to monitor the effectiveness and not just plow on because it's written that you've got to use, I don't know, X. If you're not doing enough, posts per week, then it's going to be a pretty ineffective channel. So you have to put the right resources in and plan effectively. And with a dissemination plan, it's always important that you plan ahead, you update, and you monitor the effectiveness and act accordingly. Because in the digital program, it's obligatory to have a dissemination exploitation plan submitted in the first 6 months, okay? So you need to be identifying your results. You need to be identifying who the target users are, and you need to be identifying the key messages around the results that are going to hook the end users and the adopters of your results. And you need to monitor this the whole time and update periodically. So you're showing that you're taking this pretty seriously. So how do you do this? Well, you identify right away in your proposal what are the main results and who's going to be the adopters. You need to think about why are your results interesting and adoptable for the end users, and how can you demonstrate this? Do you have a use case? Do you have people in your consortium with experience of the market, or are you perhaps less experienced in this in your consortium? Because this is really important. And the other thing, what are the key messages that you're going to be disseminating? And is it just you that understands them? Is it maybe a complex technical topic that outside your world, other people don't understand? So you need to make things quite simple often, and again, show immediate impact of the solutions that your project is providing. And then, who are the users? How are you going to reach them? Perhaps in your consortium, if you've got 10 consortium members, you've already got like a number of EU countries on board, and you really need to investigate with your consortia who they can reach out to in the project lifetime. And then what are the channels you're going to use, obviously, which are the key events you're going to be participating at, and make sure you have a budget so that you're not reaching month 15 and finding you've got a lack of resources and you're not able to disseminate effectively. So some reflections, of course, because we speak a lot to different projects, and one project in particular really stuck in my mind. They were doing pretty well. I'm not name the project, but they had a few things that they wished they'd done differently. They wished when they'd done the proposal and got the contract and the description of action, they'd been a bit more business-like in their dissemination strategy. Because remember, this isn't the Horizon program, so there's no research, okay? So having an approach where your objectives and impact are a bit more market oriented from the start gives you a bit of a head start here. And identifying partners who can use the project results directly and who are already operating in the market so they can demonstrate the impact and effectiveness of your results. So when you're building your consortium, this is, I think, a really important thing to consider, having commercial partners in there who can, demonstrate directly, because your results generally will have a high TRL, and you need to have a pretty well-defined market scenario right from the start. Otherwise, you'll be suffering later in the project. So maybe this guy we spoke to, he was, he mentioned that, having maybe less technical partners and more partners who can implement the results would have been much more beneficial for them. So quite an interesting perspective for that. So in the DEP project, we're actually piloting support services for projects which are delivering dissemination and exploitation activities. And our job is basically to understand their needs from their dissemination plan and provide different types of support for them. So helping them to deliver actionable dissemination plan and to examine the networks that they have and establishing synergies. There are 3 types of pilots that we run. One is reviewing the dissemination plan. So perhaps projects which are at the start or submitting their deliverable in month 6, or projects which are like later on in their lifetime and want to update it. So we look at really trying to make these deliverables better and make them into an actionable plan. You've got realistic KPIs, realistic activities, and things which are going to be hopefully effective in identifying and picking up target stakeholders. Another type of support is clustering. So really important that your project identifies other digital projects that they could collaborate. So there's a lot of digital innovation hubs, for example, which are the pathway if you've got to reach SMEs. So identifying projects which are perhaps funded under the same topic or have a target stakeholder already that they're already trying to reach out. And building local networks is very important, so you can build on existing relationships. And then obviously monitoring and establishing KPIs, okay? So it's important that you have KPIs identified at the proposal stage that you then constantly monitor throughout the project. So I've got a number of other slides around the pilot, but I think it's important to just highlight some of the tools that we can use. I'll just very quickly, these are all the various templates that we use in the service, but one which is quite good for you to be thinking about is the sailboat perspective, where this is all about identifying the things, the barriers to going forward in dissemination. What challenges do you have? What opportunities do you have? So you're not always too negative, but what, within your network and in your consortium, who can you identify and really leverage? And what are the barriers? So reflection is really important. If you want some inspiring stories, then we're building up a set of best practices and use cases on the website. At the moment, we've only got 2, but we're building them up, and there's a few more in the pipeline if you want to see some nice examples. Okay, so thanks very much, Janos.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. And now it's turn to questions. I think we have a couple of minutes left, and I just try to share my screen again. So we were monitoring the Q&A and in the meantime, and frankly speaking, vast majority of the question was about sharing the previous training sessions material. And we tried our best to answer to everyone who asked for it. But if anyone just left out, please speak up or write to the Q&A, and we will collect all these colleagues, all these email answers, well, email addresses, and we will send them. So it's not a problem. If we check the Q&A part, are there any questions open? Maybe I can check it and then... Yes. Presentation you sent to my email is different from one that we are seeing here from our great speakers. Is it possible to receive those two? Yes, of course. We will send this presentation as well in just a couple of days. So, this week we will send, as we did regarding the first session, a follow-up letter, and which will contain the answers to the questions, contain the presentation, and contain the link to the recording. So the answer is yes. Another question? Do the NCP curate and update one of these three platforms depending on yearly calls? So it is about the partner search platforms, the EM, the funding and tenders, and the B2Match platforms. Marius, are you here to answer this question?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, for our platform, for the DEP matchmaking platform, we as NCPs curate and update this platform, at least the information. Most of the other platforms, also the other corresponding NCPs, but it depends on who is organizing the event. For this platform that is organized by us, by DEP for All project, yes, we update depending on the calls.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions which remained unanswered so far? There were questions regarding the partner search firm, and I saw that Siga answered to some of them. There is another from an anonymous attendee where we will find the search form, so it is the same. So what we can answer is that we also, let's say, attach the partner search form to the follow-up email. And there is a question, how can we measure the impact? It's a kind of general question. So regarding the probably the evaluation criteria when Siga mentioned regarding the concept building, who wants to answer something to this, or does the let's say the owner of the question wants to, let's say, a bit refine this question or break it down a bit?
I can answer that. It came while Nicholas was talking, though, but I guess it's the same for everything. When you to be able to measure the impact, you will have to put some KPIs. You will have to have some performance indicators in order to know what you want to do with your activities, what is it done, and how you will measure it. Depends on what key performance indicators you have put in your proposal. I don't know if Nicholas thinks in the
no, so yeah, you're right. I mean, I think the main topic is how many people are going to use your results. So how many, I don't know, it depends on the topic, obviously, but how many people are going to be trained by your training platform? How many SMEs are going to adopt the service or the tool which you are providing? I think that's probably the most important thing, or high level topic, because it's all about adoption of the results. You should also show, obviously you want quantitative KPIs. So number of users, number of adopters, for example, number of people who have participated at events or meetings, but you also want some qualitative KPIs as well. So doing things like satisfaction surveys, for example, and, you know, testimonials as well, and, you know, use cases. So documenting experiences of the end user and the impact on them for peer-to-peer dissemination. There's nothing more effective than that, so that you can be using the monitoring to be disseminating afterwards, and then your whole dissemination activity is based on evidence. But yeah, I think KPIs should be both quantitative and qualitative.
Okay, there is another question. How many different projects can one institution, NGO, participate in? Also, some of the budgets seem quite high. Is there a general budget for all these projects, or is it the budget allocated per project? Could you please share the budget details?
I can take this one, Janos, if you want.
Sure, thanks.
So basically, as one participant, you can participate in as many projects as you want. That depends on your capacity, your budget, your human resources. In some call topics, you will see that there is an indication that you can only apply in one consortium. So sometimes there is a limitation for the same call topic, how often you apply, but in general, there's not a limitation. As for the budget, when you look at the call document, you will see the general budget for a call topic, and indeed this can be quite high. But there is also a breakdown. So you will see that in the call document, it says the general budget for this call topic is, let's say, 10 million. And then there will be another line saying the estimated EU contribution per project is, let's say, 2 to 3 million. So then you can estimate that the Commission intends to fund between 4 and 5 projects. So usually this is indicated in the budget part of every call document. And the general budget per call topic you will also find on the funding and tenders portal.
Thank you very much, Mari. I don't see any so-called questions, regarding the professional part of the presentation. So all the other are regarding the sharing the recording and sharing the presentation. So I can promise again that today's presentation and today's recording will also be shared. And those who gave us their emails regarding the first sessions recordings and presentation, we answered them already and try our best to answer all of them if there are more kind of requests to come. So if there are no more questions, then just one more. In one of the slides, there was a note about the coordinator must be a member state. Does it mean an associated country can't be coordinator?
That was one of my slides. No, that was one of the examples that I gave. I put some examples from different call documents to show you that the requirements can be quite different. And in this particular case, it indeed said there have to be 3 participants from 3 eligible countries, and the coordinator must be based in an EU member state. This is rather rare. Usually an associated country that's eligible to participate can also have the coordinator based in this country. I put this on the slide just to show you that it's really important to read the details and to check if there's specific requirements or not. So in general, an associated country that's eligible to respond to this specific call topic can also provide a coordinator, unless it's written differently in the call document.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maria, again. Yes, another email address. Okay, so we will collect all the email addresses and forward everything to you. Thank you very much for your, in this case, I think let's go to the last slide. And I just want to draw your attention to these 2 dates, which are remaining in June, session 3 and session 4. So please put it in your calendars. Hope that today's session was inspiring and interesting to all of you. So next 2 sessions will be kind of deep dives, which means that we will deep dive into one specific objective of Digital Europe program per session. The first one will be SO4, which is digital skills. And the next one on 30th of June will be SO2, which is about the AI continent. These 2 are very important because there are live and open calls regarding these specific objectives. So I would really like to draw your attention to, let's say, reserve a place in your calendars and take part. So if there are no more questions, then I would like to thank to all of you for your participation, and thanks for the speakers for the presentations. As promised, we will send a follow-up letter containing everything which is promised regarding the training session, and hope to see you in June 24th and June 30th. And we will organize other 2 sessions which are also in plan. The first one hopefully in July, the second one definitely in September, regarding other parts of Digital Europe program. So thank you very much again, and I would like to encourage for you to participate in these last 2 training sessions as well. So thank you very much. Have a nice day today, and we will send everything as promised. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.